Dear all, thank you very much for joining us today for celebrating International Women's Day 2025. It is a bit advanced. It is just to rule out any exact day clashes. This day is dedicated to all the women in the world. I'm Dr. Rajni Verma, your moderator for today's webinar. We have three amazing personalities with us who do not require any formal introduction. We have Professor Eva Bezak, President of FORM, Professor Arun Chougule, immediate past president, Professor Jeannie Hsiu Wong, a leading physicist in a FORM region. I welcome you all. This year, International Women's Day will be observed on 8 March under the theme Accelerate Action. The roots of International Women's Day trace back to early 20th century when labor movement protested against poor working conditions amid rapid industrialization in America. The United Nations formally recognized International Women's Day in 1975, further cementing its legal significance. Beyond celebration, IWD highlights gender disparities and advocates for change. The day serves as a reminder of the progress made and the steps need to be achieved gender equality. IWD also fosters global solidarity among the women from the diverse background. Despite progress, a significant barriers remain, making International Women's Day a crucial opportunity to access achievements, recognize challenges, and renew commitment towards a more inclusive future. Today, we as a women medical physicists in AFOMP region gather to unite, understand, and celebrate each other. Let's use this platform to discuss one of our most important mutual concern. So this webinar is focused on the second inning at work after starting a family or taking a long sabbatical due to family needs. This is a big concern for majority of women medical physicists globally. Depending on customs, cultures, norms, family expectation, it could be difficult, different, and involves various events. But the hardest battle is the one we fight against ourselves. We must constantly choose one over the other and striking a balance as a mother, wife, daughter, and professional. In this webinar, two extremely successful women medical physicists who have successfully balanced it and made a big impact on a field of medical physics are with us. In addition, we have a wonderful mentor who has served medical physics for a long 35 years, lovingly nurturing and supporting numerous women medical physicists. Today, we will all have heart to heart conversation. So I welcome you once again. So, all the lovely ladies and, of course, the male participants too, feel free to write your questions and queries in chat box to make it more interesting and live in the discussion session. So, our first speaker of the day is Professor Eva Bezak. I would not introduce her professionally. I would describe her as a charismatic medical physicist who is positive, sharp, very meticulous, inclusive, great leader and mentor, advocate of women in science, and a family person. She has balanced everything exceptionally and made a big impact on medical physics. She is a role model to many, including me. So, without wasting any time, let's hear Professor Eva Bezak. Ma'am.
Rajni, thank you very kindly. Can I confirm that you can hear me and you can see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Excellent. You know what? I don't know about the balancing. It's maybe more like mad juggling all the time rather than balancing. And when I told my team that I am supposed to talk a bit about life work balance, they all ended up rolling on the floor laughing. Because with certain roles, you don't end up with much balance to begin with. But anyway, so thank you very kindly for your invitation and for inviting me to present at this webinar. And thank you to all who have made time in your busy afternoons to join us today to celebrate. I think it skipped one more time. You know, when I got this invitation, I was really thinking, what should I be talking about? So in part, I will be talking a bit about some of the statistics, gendered statistics of women in science, and I will use some Australian data. But now that I am a bit older and hopefully a bit wiser, I'm looking back at my life and I'm asking, well, what advice would I give myself, to my younger self, if I have all today's knowledge? Can I quickly ask, and maybe people can respond to chat, do you know which country in the world gave women the rights to vote the first? I am looking in chat whether anyone knows. Maybe nothing. It was New Zealand. New Zealand, the second country that gave women the right to vote was South Australia, which is part of Australia. And the first country or state that gave women full political rights was South Australia. So I'm actually from a very progressive state. So let's begin with the talk. That's enough of trivia for today. So going about 10 years back, the Australian Institute of Physics was doing some statistics by University of Melbourne researchers, Sharon Bell and Lynn Yates, and it shows that Australian schoolgirls would still prefer life sciences, like working in health or education, compared to physical sciences with a ratio 2 to 1. At university, this got even worse, and the ratio was 4 to 1. While there could be, that ratio maintained at the postdoctoral position, looking at the senior university levels, this would be often male dominated, and the improvement rate is only about 1% per annum. I am actually very disappointed, but for example, at the University of Adelaide current physics department, the students for the first time see a female medical physics professor in year 4, which is me. Young women enter science degrees feeling more confident in their abilities than young men, but after completing PhD, they are often less successful at establishing a long-term science research career. There is definitely the skew, the scissor graph, towards men in senior positions and more women in junior position. And this has changed very little over the past 20 years. For women, the long-term job security is of greatest concern. And because of the biology and childbearing age, breaks take bigger tolls on women's career than that of their male counterparts. In 2015, I conducted a survey of medical physicists in Australia and New Zealand. And amongst things that we've asked our participants, we have been asking about the primary challenges in the professional lives of medical physicists. Women were more likely to report that there was too much work and not enough staff. Both male and women perhaps complained about the poor management practices of the organizations. Women had a bit harder time completing training and achieving certification. And women, of course, have more problems in terms of life-work balance or bad attitudes in the workplace. While many of the men said that, they were more worried about keeping up with the skills or opportunities for promotion. We have also asked that if you were a family member and you had children, how has this affected your career? Once again, we have seen more impact of family life on women compared to men. Women had too little time to fit all their workload within the work hours. Women would be more impacted by being involved in part-time work. Having young children more interfered with research or ability to travel to conferences to to acquire continuous professional development. And of course, once you are responsible for the little human beings, it changes your priority and our maternal feelings will take over. Uh, Men mentioned, many of them, that children had little impact, or it was maybe a bit hard to move interstate for promotion. But what helps in addressing these challenges? The female respondents mentioned that the number one thing that supports women, medical physicists, in their careers is to have a supportive manager, is to have flexible working hours, working close to home, and have the ability to work part-time. The least desirable options was working out of clinical hours. Of course, late nights are not good for anyone. Not being having to travel long distances to work, and working standard office hours. But when we looked at what male wanted at workplace, surprise to surprise, men wanted also a supportive manager, flexible working hours, and working close to home. So this actually is telling us that if we get to make positive changes in workplace, it's not only women that benefit, it's men that benefit as well. Having a good manager, flexible working hours benefits both genders, making them happier and satisfied in their work environment. We also looked internationally, worldwide, about the impact of COVID pandemic and working from home between females and males. Females were more concerned with domestic burden of home chores, while males were more concerned with finances. Women were more worried about caring and schooling for children and their emotional needs of their children, while men were worried about maintaining effective work practices with limitations to worksite contact. Women were missing social interactions, men were missing more professional interactions. In terms of well-being, women more reported concerns about mental health, while men reported lack of exercise.
हाँ जी
Uh, yes. Uh, Women were more concerned about expectations of employers and a substantial workload, while also looking after family. And men were maybe more concerned about being able to spend time outside the house. This is not necessarily surprising. We are different, so we often also report different challenges. So now that I have talked about the challenges and maybe some of the workplace interventions that could change that, I would also like to look at what advice would you have for others if you found ways to cope better as time went by. And some of these are again from our international survey. So in order to be able to perform better at work and to have better life-work balance, I would recommend, or this is basically international agreement of our participants, establish work schedule with regular breaks. Please don't work through lunch if you don't have to. Have home arrangement where you can share home workload with your other family members. And I understand that this might very much be dependent on cultural norms. Stay positive and forgiving. Be fantastic at organization and time management. Have rules around screen time. And I have to tell you, I am the biggest violator of this rule because I can find myself checking my phone and email even at 2 a.m. My advice to you is don't do it. Have realistic expectations. Be flexible, look after yourself, and find yourself a hobby. Find yourself something you like where you can escape to enjoy yourself and perhaps forget the stress of the of the home and work life. Make something for yourself every week that you can look forward to. So myself, I like going to nature. I like hiking, and I like, relaxing, meditating in a beautiful natural environment. And at the other end, I like going with my son to football, where I always laugh that I can scream all the angst with other people at the stadium, and no one is looking at me that I am completely crazy. Let's talk about self-care. Look, self-care does not have to take a huge chunk out of your time for a busy day. But if you make time for yourself to get sufficient rest, exercise, you will feel more energetic, and then you can perform better. You can inform healthy boundaries and communicate your needs, so that the others and your family can understand what enables you to be healthy and happy. Please learn to say no and do not feel guilty about that. Accepting health. Often we are, feeling obliged that we have to say yes to everything and perform all the work. But my advice to everyone is simple. If someone offers you help, always say yes. And you don't do it all by yourself, and you don't have to feel guilty about it. If your resources allow it, for example, home task, outsource it. I have to tell you, I am using a home helper that comes once a week and helps me with cleaning the house and cooking the meals. Uh, and generosity goes both ways. Maybe one day a colleague helps you with something at work, but the next day you can help them out with their task. We can accept help and still be seen as strong, independent, and capable. One does not negate the other. When someone asks you if you need something, say yes. If someone asks you how you are, tell them the truth. You don't always have to say, I am really well. You can tell, I am busy, I am struggling with the task, I would like to talk to someone. When someone offers you something, say thank you and tell them that you appreciate it. And if you are feeling stuck, lonely, or afraid, ask for help from those who are close to you or from your professional colleagues to support you. It is important to share all workloads. From my point of view as a manager, it is an important part of my job to ensure that everyone on the team has the right amount of work and that I don't rely only on those who are always competent. There is a fine line between delegation and micromanagement. So as a manager, we also trust our co-workers that they are capable of doing their jobs and I don't have to worry about their performance. But at home, hopefully you have your family members, your partners, your close relatives, where you can share the responsibility in the tangible tasks, including laundry, dishes, lunches, but also untangible tasks like, education of children, paying for home loan, and that the family unit is a partnership where the workload can be shared as much as possible, at least in theory. Have an open discussion with your partner where possible. But also have realistic expectations. Determine your expectations early on. Learn to let go. Do not procrastinate or think about the failures or what you should have done. Practice positive self-talk. Write your goals. Track your progress. Give yourself time and grace. Not everything has to be finished today. Avoid burnout. Celebrate what you have accomplished. Be proud of yourself and appreciate what you already have. I call it count your blessings every day and build confidence. I would like to finish with a couple of more slides. In October last year, I was able, with my Malaysian colleagues, to run the IOMP school on intensity modulated radiotherapy. And it was wonderful to see so many young medical physicists, many of them being women, to see them being happy and determined to train in medical physics and advance their career. And it was really also enlightening for me to share my experiences with them. Secondly, I also have to finish that the World Congress on Medical Physics that incorporates Australia Asia Congress of Medical Physics will be held in September in Adelaide, and the abstract will close on 17th of September, and I encourage you all to attend. Finally, thank you and happy International Women's Day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. It was inspirational and truly wonderful to know. We all can relate to the realities you have discussed, and of course, I feel with realistic expectation, it will help you with your mental health also, with your happiness
Absolutely.
also.
Absolutely.
So, thank you very much, ma'am, once again. So, our second speaker of the day is Professor Arun Chougule. It is well known that he is a great teacher, mentor, and a medical physicist. In his long career, he has mentored countless women medical physicists, including me, Kanan Jessel, Mary Joan, Hemlata, Gomati, Priya, and number is countless. In his team, all the members feel valued and supported. Our first chances in professional world or a higher education was generously given by him, and he helped us realize our potential and open the horizons of thinking without any prejudices. Uh, so we will love to hear your experience of working with the team where the majority of female professionals leaded the team. What are the changes you observed when you look at their second inning and your suggestion and advices to balance both the lives?
Thank you, Rajni, for the kind introduction. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening as the place you are in. And let me wish all of you happy International Women's Day in advance. Today's webinar is on second innings of women in medical physics. And Eva Bezak, one of the stalwart in the field, has talked about her views, her ideas. I will say that she is fortunate to be born in Europe and working in Australia, which are much more advanced. But the situation in many countries of Asia, Oceania, and AFOMP and other regions are very different. Traditions are very different. And therefore, I will be talking about the mentorship by male physicists, breaking barriers, so many barriers we have got. Again, accept my greetings on this occasion. Very aptly, Rajni and AFOM had chosen this topic, this webinar, and I have been asked to talk about the male, how as a mentor he can do. And we have heard Eva Bezak, and we'll be listening another stalwart, Jeannie. And I remember very well when Eva first visited Jaipur in 2009 for a international conference I organized, and that time she came with her two kids, small kid, and that had things how more time you have to spend and bring them up. And also while discussion, when I discussing, she has to take her kids to the office and work and take care of that. So this difficult situation I did know. Just recently, when the Kumbh Mela was going, and in the Delhi railway station, a RPF constable carrying a 1-year-old baby while managing crowds at Delhi railway station. You see many other situations, working women taking care of the child and balancing between the work and the family. Very difficult task. This is not only for the educated or working, what I can say in a stereotype job, even for a laborer. You can see this is a laborer with a child, she's working with that thing. And this we see a daily. and then becomes as a family member, as a male partner, male mentors, to take care whatever way we can support to this thing. And nowadays you think if both are working and busy with this thing, the child is saying, I think I was not born but downloaded. This is a joking side of the life and all. So challenges faced by the women post maternity, and there are interruption and things are there. So one has to help career interruption leading to loss of confidence and technical expertise because of the time gap, because medical physics field is evolving, changing, and if there's a huge gap of maybe 1 or 2 years, by the time you lag behind in the technical expertise. Also, difficulty in balancing work responsibilities with the family commitment, because medical physics needs on place working, doing QA/QC, planning and things and all, and the family commitment, both is a hard job balancing. Perception of reduced reproductivity and career stagnation is another challenge for the woman she has to overcome. My experience and efforts to change this stereotype, I will talk from the starting of my career. I joined as a medical physician way back in 1984. And the first encounter I have got in 1985 when a female radiology resident got pregnant. And that time it was not a medical physics department, separate, it was a radiology department. And the head of the department of radiology was not giving a special consideration for a female radiology resident who got pregnant and worried about the radiation risk and requested for posting where less radiation will be there. And I happened to be a radiation safety officer. She came to me also, and I thought that her worries should be taken care. I spoke to the head of the department, but he was saying, no, she has to work in the radiation field if she want to complete her MD. Has she taken a permission before becoming pregnant? That was a sarcastic answer, and I got this, and I said, you can put her into less radiation field like a reporting, sonography, or some other places, consider it all. So that was my first encounter of this disparity, where I thought the women who gets pregnant or having family should be considered little differently than a male counterpart. Another thing was there when I got one project in 1992, a funded project from Government of India, and a sanction of JRF was there. And for that, we advertised the post of JRF, and many girls, women, like along with a male, also applied for the post. And when the interview was being conducted, because that time, being the head of the department, my head of the department will conduct, I was a part of the team and one more expert. And I found one girl who was very bright, topper in gold medalist in bachelor, gold medalist in master's program, and I thought to hire her. But he was saying, no, you will be landing in problem, you appoint a female, she will not work, she will not run around this thing. But I said, requested, let me give me a chance, that I think she is capable, she is very, she told also that whatever work you will give, I will do that thing. Then reluctantly said, go ahead, but he advised me, give her so much work that she should run away within a month or so. And I will tell you, when she came for joining, she came with her mother and mother-in-law. And they said me, we are here, our daughter and daughter-in-law, she will be working. So please support, please treat her well. I said, you are her mother and you are mother-in-law. She is more, for me, a daughter and also daughter-in-law. Don't worry about that thing. She will be taken care. And I will tell the audience that she worked so hard. Any work you give, she continued. And then after a year, she desired to do a PhD. and I found a way how she can do PhD. During that time, she got a pregnant, but still then, whatever work she can carry from the home or the library, we allowed. She did her PhD, got into a lecturer job, and now she is a professor at that place. So I feel very happy. In 2002, first National Conference of Association of Medical Physicists I took at Jaipur. And that time, you know, single department, one person medical physicist in the whole hospital will be there. Then having a secretary, treasurer, many other things. And then I got as a treasurer one female technician. And she worked so honestly, so sincerely. I got impressed with her and dedication and all. Given the opportunity, they will work. You have to trust on them. And then I will tell you that in 2003, I got the opportunity to recommend the VLR fellowship for a radiographer, and a female radiographer, I chosen it. But all other colleagues say, oh, she's a woman, how she can travel, how she can go there, this and that. And I'm happy that she went. She did it very nicely because she was young. And then after coming, she mentored many students and all. Then the things progressed. In 2030, I succeeded in creating some faculty posts, senior residency in medical physicists and all. And then the applications started coming. Many young women medical physicists also, they applied. But as you know, as a customs and the tradition in India, the women going from far away places to work, the parents wants the assurance, the guardians want the assurance how the work culture, safety of their girl child, and all those things. And that was my job, to give them the sense of trust and transparency that they will be safe here, they will have a good work place to work and atmosphere. And the first medical physicist to join in my team was Mary Joan. At that time, she was pursuing PhD also from Bangalore, and she has to go here and there to work. I said, no worry, you can continue, because it will be an asset for not only you, for all of us when you complete this. And she worked very hard, devoted the things, and taken care of all the things despite of the odds and all. And also, you know, when there was no space to sit and all, so slowly, when they joined, we created a space to sit. Everyone was given the opportunity, and I am very satisfied that not only they just contributed to the departmental work for the academic activities, the conferences we organize, they took a leading part, and they put, you can say, mark on their contribution into the field. So you have to create, even unfortunately, many times it's a stereotype department, male-dominated department, a female toilets are not there for a staff. So we have to create those things, and I tried. So equal opportunities for grooming and mentoring is very important through providing to your female colleagues, medical physicists. Academic activities, conference, encourage women medical physicists to take part, and they take part, and they are in the audience. Mary Joan is there. I think Kanan Jasal was the second medical physicist who did a PhD under me, got married, had got children, and all those things. So they all got the space to cope up the things. We have to be compared, but at the same time, they have given back with all their the work and the fairness of this mentoring. Then Rajni joined us in the department, and with the permission of Rajni, I will tell a story of Rajni, because I had to play both the roles of a parent of a girl and the parent of a boy also. And then same after a few days, the Gaurav joined, and they, being working in the same place, they fall in love and all. it was being an intercaste marriage, it was so difficult for me to handle the parents of both, because they were saying, what is this happening and this and all. I tried to convince in that. And when Rajni was getting married, first in a barat, means in a procession of Gaurav Jain, I joined from the boy side, and after the barat has come, I joined from Rajni's side, from a girl's side, and then he got pregnant, maternity leave. That time she was on a probation period, and the problem was there that maternity leave and all. I, being in administration, I pursued the office and this thing that she has every right to get the maternity leave even while on a probation period and all. And after joining, she was given a space to accommodate, because we know she was having young daughter, and then again she had another daughter and this. So these things we have to provide. So AFOMP also, I tried when I became AFOMP president, gender equality. And Eva will agree with me that they were the pillars, Eva, Chai, Anupama, along with other male chairs and all those things in this. So gender equality, I tried to balance into that thing, and they did it very well. So as a male physicist, to all my male colleagues, I will tell you, and I want to tell, we have to break these barriers, and we have to encourage equal opportunities. Sometimes we have to go little beyond that also, to providing the opportunities to a female, because they are coming into disadvantaged stage, and when they start a second career, little more out of way going and giving. So fair access to for mentorship, leadership roles and research opportunities are there, and they must be happy. All my male colleagues also got opportunities, female also they got it. Any conferences, any meeting they wanted to go, I said, go ahead, we'll manage the department, no issue. And at the same time, all the male medical physicists, they supported, because I was there asking them, see, they are our counterpart, don't worry, they will also help us and all those things. And they have attended most of the meetings and this thing without any restriction. So we have to address the implicit biases, recognizing, overcoming unconscious biases when we are mentoring the women medical physicists. When I was a president of the MP also, some of the girl or women medical physicists, they will write to me or they will complain me, you see, I am losing my job, or they are not appointing me because I'm a female. They will say, okay, you will get married, you will leave, you need pregnancy leave and something like that. So those biases we have to take care into all. Workplace allyship, how male physicists can create an inclusive and supportive work environment is, you can create example. Active sponsorship, recommending women physicists for promotion, grants and conferences, opportunities based on their abilities. So that is what is very important. And you can see, just you listen, but you can see it here, all these 4 and 2, 6 medical physics colleagues against 3 male medical physicists, you can see. So more than the gender balance we had, every opportunity, let it be the workshop, let it be training program, let it be our get together or dinner meetings, we all took into account that the female medical physicists, they get a space. Even I made it mandatory that every International Women's Day is celebrated in the Department of Radiological Physics, and all this along with male and female, they will work on pamphlets, brochure, some logo, share hope and vision, and you can see how they come, how they do those things, and that is how you can see they will make good pamphlets things, welcoming women medical physicist staff, other staff, nursing staff, technical staff into this thing. And this is what I experienced, that if you provide a support in a difficult period of the second inning of the Open, they strive for excellence, knowing that their hard work would be recognized and rewarded. So these incentives, I will tell you, they will give you a good fruits if you trust them and give them some support during this thing. So supporting women in returning after motherhood second inning is by flexible work policies. You can make it, timings maybe, hours maybe, and then on-site children care families taking care of the thing, bridging the care gap, offering re-entry program, refresher courses, helping them to bridge the technical upgradation gaps because of the gap between the job, because of the family, this thing. Mental and emotional well-being is a very, very important psychological challenges, and all those career breaks are there. Maternity leave and beyond extending support is a very, very important, and then you can allow them phased manner return in a working day. Okay, you can come on job in a week, 2 days, work from home, something like that. Role of professional organization is very, very important in encouraging women, and now more and more women are coming in India too into the medical phases. You can fund, you can sponsor them. So recognizing the psychological impact, career breaks in rejoining, that is very, very important. And with the vision and commitment of fostering a diverse and inclusive atmosphere, ensuring that women in the department are not only respected, but also provided the avenues for growth and the professional development is a very, very important for male partners, male the head of department or who are supervising all those things. Ensure that female employees are given equal opportunity for leadership role, research and decision making also, and commitment to breaking down traditional barriers in more balanced workplace is very, very important. India traditionally what we call yatra narastu pujante ramante tatra devata. Yatra nastu na pujante. What is meaning? In a Sanatana Hindu mythology, where women are honored, divinity blossoms there. And where women are dishonored, all action, no matter how noble, remains untruthful. And always, we give a space to women in our society, in our workplace. They will prove their worth. Only thing is giving the space, encouraging them. With this word, I will end it here. There are many of my colleagues, female colleagues who have worked with me. I will not say I will mentor them. They have the abilities, so they have done that thing. They will also speak, they want to do. With this thing, I thank for the great opportunity given to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was exceptional. And we feel fortunate to have a mentor like you and who is so sensitive towards our problems. Also, accept our gratitude for changing lives for many women medical physicists. We got few thanks messages in the chat box also. So now we move towards our third speaker, Professor Jeannie. She's an inspirational women medical physicist from Malaysia. She has her education in both biomedical engineering and medical physics. She completed her PhD from University of Wollongong, Australia. She has published more than 85 papers to the date and promoted to full professorship in 2024. In 2023, she successfully obtained the professional certification from IMPCB and the first and currently the only one with a diagnostic radiology certification in Malaysia and the Southeast Asia. She has supervised many, including postgraduate student, PhDs, master student. In 2019, she received AFOMP Young Leaders Award. Her comeback after starting a family is a very successful story. We all love to hear your second inning story, motivation, and challenges in the cultural settings. Professor Jeannie. Professor Jeannie, you are mute. Kindly
Okay.
unmute you.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you for the organizer for inviting me to share my experience here. So after listening to what Prof. Eva has said about, what are the challenges that faced by women in the career and workforce you know, I felt a lot of resonance to that. Yeah, and I think probably what I say here will be quite similar to what Eva has said. Not the statistics. So maybe what I'll share here is my personal journey. But before that, probably just to say that we've also have a survey a few years ago looking at the profession in Malaysia, and in contrast to the general population of the medical physicists globally, actually in Malaysia we have more female medical physicists compared to male physicists. Yeah. And if we look at where they work, interestingly, we have more women working in the private centers compared to government. And we know private centers tends to earn more money, which is good. But in general, we can still see that most medical physicists in this country is still, more females are at while we have a lot of female medical physicists, most are like at a low career rank. At higher levels, at leadership level, there are less of them. This is probably what they call the leaky pipe problem, where when female goes into marriage and have children, and they are probably left out in the promotion, perhaps. So in that way, it's quite similar to what we see in the global statistics. So here I would like to just share a bit of my journey as a medical physics academic here in Malaysia. As mentioned, I was from, my background is actually from biomedical engineering, from the University of Malaya. And then I did a Master's of Medical Physics, which then led me to this field of medical physics. But between 2005 to 2007, I was looking around. I was trying out working as research assistant to Professor Ng. And then I also spent about 1.5 years at a private medical center in Malaysia as an RT physicist. And this is my supervisor, or the chief physicist at that time, Mr. who was my mentor and taught me a lot about the clinical work. Then I came back to University Malaya to become a tutor. So while I was doing at research assistant at UM, I was also learning a lot, involved a lot in conference organizing activity. So yeah, under Professor Ng Kwang Hong, the students were given a lot of opportunities to learn how to organize conferences, even from that very young time. And from then I've got a scholarship from the university, and I pursue my PhD at the University of Wollongong, Australia. And this is my supervisor, Professor Anatoly Rosenfield, Peter Metcalf, and Martin Carolan. So they were really good mentors. They taught me a lot about solid state dosimetry and writing. And during this time, I was also very fortunate that my mentor, Prof. Anatoly Rosenfield, sent me to overseas, to several places, to the United States. Locally, I also went to Prince of Wales Hospital to work with Dr. Tony Nito. He has now passed away, but he has taught me a lot of very, very valuable lessons as a clinical physicist. And I've went to Wisconsin and worked with Dr. Nicholas Hardcastle, and met Dr. Prof. Wolfgang Tomei and Prof. Larry Dewart from Standard Imaging, where they have remodeled one of their Lucy Phantom for my dosimetry work. As well as I went to Morphic Cancer Center and did some work with Dr. Fagerman, as well as went to Loma Linda Cancer Center and worked with Reinhard Schulte. So they were amazing people which opened my eyes to to a lot of bigger things that I've never seen before. And I felt that was really important. So I graduated in 2011 for PhD and returned to UM, and this is my first batch of the medical physics. So joining the radiology department, and we have a Master of Medical Physics program, and this is my first batch of students when I came back. So at the same year, I've also registered and got married. And I was very productive for the next few years. So I've got 3 kids, Benjamin, Emily, and Brian. Until my students once saw me and said that every time I see you, you're always pregnant. So it was a bit of embarrassing in that way. But throughout that time, I had maternity breaks, 3 months, not too long. But at the same time, I was continuing work. I've supervised quite a few PhD students from then until now. So among here, there were, Safari is my first PhD student who's now working in Germany. And John is in Singapore. Hsiu is also in Singapore. They are physicists in Singapore, and Soksam is a lecturer. So yeah, so I've been very busy. And also from the master's and research coursework, I've supervised more than 45 research students over the years. And one of the highlights that I felt was the biggest task that I was tasked to do and was able to carry out was to organize, to be the co-chair with Prof. Wong, to organize the AOCMP and CCOM 2024. We had more than 500 participants coming from all over the world. And finally, I was promoted to my full professorship in 2024, last year, just recently. So I don't know if I have if this is called a second inning. I felt that it was first innings as well, because I didn't really have much break. The career breaks that I did have was the short 3 months maternity leaves for all the 3 kids, and 2 sabbaticals that I had. And yes, there are challenges, and there are increased family commitments and expectation from my spouse, from my husband, and expectation of whether or not you're good enough, you're doing enough. My house are often messy, I'm messy self, and often lack of sleep. And for a long time, I don't go for conferences or overseas conferences a lot. If we want to go for conferences, we have to negotiate. We need to negotiate with our spouse. Social life, practically none. Just work and home. And often I will have to spend late nights and weekend working. And of course, there's this, we still remember the COVID-19 pandemic, where we had to do a lot of changes in our teaching methodology because we have a master's medical physics program. And during that time, everyone was working from home, and it means that we have to balance a full-time daycare as well as work from home. And with all that, I also felt, I still felt a huge inferior complex, especially compared to other people. You feel that, you're not good enough, right? But there are also opportunities, and I call it the silver linings of the clouds. The short career breaks, although it may feel that I'm lacking behind, and people are progressing and I'm not, it somehow afford me some time for a mental mental break or not mental breakdown, but mental break as in, because it gives you a bit of space to kind of like an excuse to say, okay, I don't have to think about my work. I don't have to think about research or grant or teach students for a while. I'm allowed to spend time to think about myself and my kids. Yeah. In a way, it is like a short break. So when I came back, it feels refreshed. So in a way, it's good for me. And the COVID-19, while it has a lot of challenges and disadvantages, I felt it was also benefit, because while we have to balance a lot of work balance, balancing the work and the home management, it also meant that I could spend a lot of time at home with the children. And I don't know if you remember, at that time, there's a lot of free conferences, online conferences and webinars that were free for all. And in that way, there was a lot of opportunities for us to join these conferences, which we may not be able to join if you have to travel very far. And at that time, we also developed new teaching material for our students. And that was something that was really useful now that we're continuing to use. And while we cannot do a lot of research work hands-on, we were able to work on writing books, papers, and all that. So we can still progress, sort of do bits and pieces that helps us in our career. So what can I conclude on the key strategies that I use? I think we need to know what we want in our career. And it'd be good to have a mental image of what you would envision yourself in few years' time. Have a mental image of that. Sometimes I call it like, this is a deja vu feeling, like you say, this time next year, I will be doing this, I've achieved this. Having that mental image, that positive, can be helpful, I think. And if we're working in any institution, I think it's important to know the rules of the game. What are the KPIs? What are the promotion criteria? And try to strategize to align and work towards that. Plan to achieve it within certain time. I think it is also important to have self-discipline and motivation to continuous improvement. It does mean that we have to put in that extra effort. When we take sabbatical, I think they are important, because they are important for us to refocus, recharge, or even when we want to change direction, it's time for us to move away from our normal work. So do take sabbatical and make them meaningful. Not take not to sort of waste them away, because they might be really useful. And for me, also is to be open for new opportunities. Sometimes people ask, our colleagues and our supervisors may ask us to do some work. Be open to accepting some of these tasks. Maybe we cannot be too calculative, because what we're doing today may be planting the seeds for tomorrow. The efforts that we're putting in today could bear fruit in a year time, 2 years time. So be positive and have the thought of the glass is half full instead of half empty. But having said that, no one can do everything and have everything. So we do need to prioritize and understand that priorities can change depending on the time and needs. And supports. I think it's very important to have support. And I was very, very lucky and very, very lucky to have many mentors and role models along my career, from my PhD time, from my work here, from Anatoly, Peter Metcalf, Martin Carolan, Prof. Ng Kwang Hong, my dean and head of department, they are female as well. They are very, very supportive. And Prof. Eva is also one of my mentor and role model as well, because I think, you know, there were 2 years that she came as our external examiner for our students, and it was the first time that I had a chance to talk to someone and really share. And we didn't talk about much research work. We talk about how we juggle the child, what we have to do, what are things that it was so difficult, and I felt that was like finally someone understood. Yeah, so I appreciate that sharing, and when I see that she could also achieve very well, I see her as my role model. And also my colleague here, Prof. Yong Chai Hong, although she's younger than me, but she's also my role model, because you know, she kind of showed us the way that, you know, we can also do things. You know, we can do a lot of things. And it's very important to have a strong support from our spouse to share the home chores and responsibility, and negotiate for our time to do things. And we need to continue to care for our families and kids, because they are our mental strength, because knowing that they are well is where we have the strength to do what we are doing. And I'm very, very thankful that I have a very strong support from my team at the University Malaya here, my colleagues, as well as my collaborators. Our team is very small, but we work very closely together, and we very, very thankful for them. So I'll end with this sort of guiding principles that I always thought, that there's no right or wrong choices in life. We just need to play the best with the cards that are dealt to you. And if we make a choice, then accept the responsibility of your choice. If we make our choice to have families and have children, they are our responsibility, and together with our job as well. So we have to do what is best for them. So yeah, that's all for my talk today. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Professor Jenny. It was exceptional. I think majority of us can relate to your struggles, the periods of self-doubts, but I have to admit that you are inspirational. So thanks to all of our speakers, and let's move to our next session, which is a discussion. And I think we already have few questions in our chat box. So I will start with 2 or 3 questions of my own, and then I will include some from the chat box. So should we start?
Yes.
Okay. From the various studies, whether it's a medical physics workforce, a global perspective study published in 2018, or a study named Women in Medical Physics and Biomedical Engineering, Past, Present, and Future, published in 2022, it is evident that the women representation is still away from United Nations or European Commission's goal. More importantly, representation in higher hierarchy positions is low. Do you feel the second start of the career is one of the main reasons behind it?
Oh, definitely the interruptions to the career is delaying women in the progression. That's without a doubt. But where we are having these days a bit of a difference. And again, as Arun said, I am in Australia. People have different policies and protocols in different countries. But what we now have when you are applying for promotion, apart from your addressing selection criteria or even applying for a grant, people provide what it's called relative to opportunity statement. And interestingly enough, even men are taking advantage of it, where women can say, I am 10 years post qualification, master's or PhD, but I spent 3 years on maternity leave, and I then worked 0.6 FTE full time. So my experience is equivalent to 5 years post PhD. So they cannot really judge her that in 10 years she should be at this level, or they should not be judging her that she has less grants than the male counterpart or less papers than the male counterpart, because she has taken actually important societal role to be a mother and bring new generation of people to our community. So I was also sitting on panels in major universities within Australia where we created 2 lists. It was done still on merit, but we had a male list and female list, and we selected performing candidates of both genders and appointed from both lists. So some of the things, we need to be proactive as the females at all levels. We need supportive managers and male mentors. But some of the changes also need to come at the policies and procedures of the organizations at the government levels and HR policies that will actually ensure that the women have both right to be mothers and have right to be promoted.
That's great. I'm feeling a little unfortunate not being working in Australia with so sensitive policymakers and mentors. But I'm sure the changes will definitely come. It may take time, but it will definitely come, and we have to be hopeful and positive, and of course, realistic to our expectations. Thank you, Eva. I know you are advocate to the women's in all the policy thing, and you are a great mentor. Okay, so my next question is, it's very interesting. Like whenever we talk about women rights, policies, we always look up to the West because we feel their working condition policies are always in favor of women or liberated. But we have seen with a report, it's a development and testing of database of NIH research funding of AAPM members, and a similar AAPM professional survey which talks about disparities in salaries and even the research funds granted to the women. So it's West. Even policies mentioned every kind of consideration, but still the representation and these reports shows a different story. What's your take on this, Professor Chougule?
Yeah. See, changes are happening across the world because you see the countries are not in the old era because we are connected with advanced countries and all the time. I will just tell you one example, and also I will answer one question which was raised there. Till 2000, to bring more women into medical, there were 25% reservation, and the hostels and things were made like that. Today, more than 60% are girls into medical and medicine. So things have changed. About 30 years ago, when you go for an employment and the woman is pregnant, the fitness certificate was not given. Because after delivery, because immediately she joined and she may have to take a leave and all. But it has changed by the Supreme Court, and act has been changed. One guy said that in a private it is not like that, in government only it is there. 1961 Maternity Act is equally in private and the government. So all working in private also has a right for the maternity paid leave. You have to assert, you have to go for that thing. So things are changing, and many parts and this thing, they are more women are coming and getting the thing. Only thing is that you have to come forward. I always say jokingly, she is more stronger than he because she includes he also. Woman is more than stronger than man because she includes all the strength they have got. They have to assert and take this thing. And there are leadership, I will tell you, they are coming up. There are disparities because it's all custom and things, it will take some time. But still, people, the situation 30, 40 years today had changed. And you all have to come up and take this forward. And what Jeannie has said, more than 50% women medical physicists in Malaysia are women. You can see the change. I am afraid that there will come as a reservation for male medical physicians. You should reserve this thing. So it will come. More and more working force will come into this thing. The society also gets accepted. Things also get developed, and the biases will go away, not in one night or one day, slowly. That is what these platforms we are using. Even you asked me to talk about this thing, and my male colleague may be happy or may not be happy, but still I say you should give a room for your female colleagues. They can prove much better.
Thank you, sir. Now I have another question that's for Professor Jenny. By the way, Professor Jenny, you have a beautiful family, and it is wonderful to see you as a family person with all the relative things which can be related to every family woman or a professional. So, like from your presentation, we can see that mentor plays a very important role in women's life, women medical physicists' life, or any professional life. We come across the information that Malaysia have a mentor and a mentee program, which is running from a long duration now. And what's your opinion about this? Does this kind of program helps in growing from the women's
Thanks.
perspective?
Do you mean the mentor, the one that Professor Kwang Hong is doing, or
I think
something else?
I think Professor Kwan NG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that is actually it's not a Malaysia, it's an international, I believe, program. So he runs this the mentor mentee program for international, so not limited to Malaysia only. But I say I agree that I think having mentors do help us. It's a very, very big support because a lot of times as juniors, when we are moving up the ladder and finding our ropes and finding our ways, having mentors are really helpful because they can give us direction and show us this opportunity, and perhaps let us tag along and then learning from them. And yeah, I think it certainly helped, but I think not everyone will have the luxury, the luck or good opportunity to have good mentors. So in those cases, then they will be having more difficult times, I believe. But this is where
Jenny,
we need,
if I can jump in, IGHAO, the Secretary General of AFOMP, is setting up an ECR group, early career medical physicists, and we are hoping to give other platforms where perhaps our younger members can socialize, exchange experiences. You know, something that Jenny just mentioned about talking to me, sometimes you need another colleague where you can actually share those experiences and at least talk about it and exchange strategies. And hopefully, once that ECR group is established, we could then also assign mentors because you may not always have them within your
Correct.
departments. So AFOM is assuming some responsibility there as well, but it's all developing.
That's great, really great to hear, Eva. Yeah.
I also want to comment a small thing. But definitely, in my opinion, this kind of programs, mentor or mentee program, or an initiative by a firm could help women in a such a way, because when you have interaction with other colleagues or different mentors, so it may happen that your head of the department or your current member may not value your contribution, but some other mentor may find a great potential in you and is ready to give you chances. So definitely socializing with other mentors or other colleagues will open different doors and giving you many opportunities. So in a way, I think this kind of programs and initiatives will definitely help other early career professionals, not only males, not only females, but males also, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Look, there is also a research that says that sometimes it works better if your mentor is from another organization,
Yeah.
because from within the organization there could be conflict of interest or a bit of politics, and
Yeah.
you may not feel openly discussing maybe the issues in the workplace.
Yeah.
So it's actually better to have someone who is your supporter and a mentor from independent of your own department.
Yes.
Uh, there is one question on the chat box. I saw that IAA is affirmative reservation and preference for a female. It gives, and that is there. One should use that thing, and lot of scholarship, lot of opportunities IAA is providing. One has to go to the website and see about that thing. One more comment, that too from name I will not, but she has said very shameful that most of the males and this thing. See, we all are family people. My mother, my father, my grandmother, nanny, all those things. See, girl child also born and things and all are working. Even it is not that I always say my wife may not be in a regular service, but she's a homemaker taking this thing, contributing to my growth, economy and all. So saying that males are antagonist to getting female pregnant or physicists, it is not the thing. And see, we are just seeing with the binocular of the physicist jobs and this. It's all strata of the life. There is a struggle. It may be executive in anywhere into bank or even in medical field. So you should not just zero down on the male stereotype of a physicist or something mentoring. It depends upon how you interact, how you put the things, and it goes in hand, I think. And that was Eva's first slide was a hand in hand, shake hand. That is very, very important thing is to do that.
Thank you so much, sir. I agree with this. We don't have to see males as our enemies. We have to see them as our companion. And a lot of change has come through years, and I'm sure it will change for all good. So we have to just trust in the process and keep trying. We have another question from Ms. Yashvi Chabra in the chat box. The question is, we always discuss these problems and solutions, but the implementation part is where we lack the most. How can we ensure good policies in our department when we join as a junior medical physicist? Luckily, my head of the department is a woman, but what about men dominating departments where raising a voice creates your image as an arrogant woman?
Look, this is a hard one. And it really depends also on each organization. And, the change needs to happen at every level,
Yeah.
from education of both genders in school to university to the workplaces. But the securities and changes need to come also from above, so that the politicians or unions, if you have such an organization, really force implementations of good human resource policies. And if you have a human resource policy procedure in place, then it can be used by staff to show when a manager is not behaving the appropriate way. This will not change overnight. This will take years to change. I would be also, look, you were talking about the United States. United States didn't have a female president, but India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh did have. But I would be also saying, you know, when you have democratic countries and you can vote women into parliament and talk to your local member about changing the policies in terms of protecting your rights in the workplace, protecting your right for maternity leave, protecting yourself against bullying, whatever. So the changes really need to come from above as well as from below. And Arun had touched nice, you know, I think changes start at home.
Yes.
We all have a mother. So there is a significant female in our lives. We might have sisters, others might have wife or daughters. So how we treat women in our families then also translates how we treat women in the workplace. Look, don't you know, miracle may not happen over time, but we have to keep chipping at it and keep changing the society. Very quickly, and Arun Jeannie might want to add. One of my early mentors, and you know, I have a PhD in nuclear physics as well as degree in medical physics, and I mostly worked with men. One of my professors had 4 daughters. And because he had 4 daughters who were all successful professionals, he was then also very enabling of female PhD students, because you think, okay, do I want my daughter to be disrespected in the workplace? So you then also change how you behave within the workplace. But you know, it's a long process, I understand. Jeannie, do you
Yes.
want to add?
No, I agree completely with that. Yeah, I think it is. I think the changes will have to come from a lot of people being aware,
Yes.
and being willing to
Yeah.
to make that change. Actually, I think.
One thing that I was trying to say with the survey outcome, you know, we are not doing changes for the benefit of women. If we are creating better workplaces, everyone benefits. Juniors as well as seniors, men as well as women. So we are creating happier workplaces overall. So we don't have to look like this is like very hard and we all, you know, women are making it hard at the workplaces. If you create safe environment, everyone is happy and you have a better performing team.
Definitely, I agree. So, my quick comments on this is, ladies, this is the time we need to gel up together and unite for our common causes. Don't see each other as a competition, see as a uniting force and work for our own betterment. And we also ask men to join us, because when they will join us, our voices became strong. And of course, when they advocate for you, men advocate for women, whether they need not to be in a blood relation with you. As a colleague, if they support you, the workplace will definitely improve. So we have another question that's from Gaganpreet Singh. He says, in government, it is somehow manageable, government setups.
I answered and already written also 1961 Act. And being a pro vice chancellor, I used to get a lot of cases because now many women resident getting married, getting this thing. So they have a right to get a maternity leave and all those things up to 2 child, not the third one. It's by law. You have to assert, you have to use the law present. That is important. Let it be private or anywhere, same right.
Yes, we have to be assertive. And of course, our male colleagues needs to help us. And if the administration is not ready to give any kind of this consideration to your women colleagues, you have to stand up with up for her. And then I think the institution will definitely hear you out when everybody supports or assert on that kind of issues. So now we have another question. It's from Ms. Nurul. Uh, she's asking any tips on how to keep our stamina, motivation going, as sometimes juggling Means like growing up kids and peak of a career can be exhausting, but we want both.
Jenny, would you like to start?
I don't know. Eat well, sleep well. Like Eva said, I think sometimes things can be doesn't have to be finished today.
Yeah.
So prioritize, I would say prioritize on what is needed at that moment. You know, if it's attention needs to be paid to the family, then do that now, and then tackle the problem tomorrow. But but just need to persevere, you know. Yeah, but make sure you have nutrition.
Exactly. Look, I had 2 kids that were 2 years apart. I took 4 years off. Okay. And here I am.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
did not lose that much in my career. So it was okay to have that interruption. And I still managed to catch up and, progress in my career. So don't feel guilty
Yeah.
if you have to interrupt your career. So, as a matter of fact, one of my undergraduate lecturers told me for him, the best workers in the department are married women with children because they are the best organized and have the best time management. They don't have time to procrastinate. They have to finish the task, then go home, look after kids. So he said he would always hire a female with kids because their efficiency and productivity is really good. So,
More than that, they are very compassionate because they have gone
yes,
through the situation.
empathy.
They are very
Yeah.
patient and everything.
Yeah, but I agree with Jenny. And look, this is where you need to talk to your partner and to your family. If someone in your family says, I will take your kids away for 3 hours, you say yes, so that you can have a bit of time for yourself to unwind, to read a book, to go for a walk. If your neighbors offers you that they will bring dinner tonight, say yes. But you also have to be conscious that maybe you have a little break where you can eat, where you can, find time to sleep, find at least, 20 minutes in the evening before you go to bed that you can read a book or a prayer book or meditation, whatever allows you to unwind your mind from stress. But you have to also take the responsibility of looking after yourself.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it's not we can just adjust, recalibrate of what we expect to get, like, just space it out a little bit so that we can have a bit more time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because I think if we are ready, the opportunities will be there, so.
And exactly, Jenny, as you said, we can't be perfect in everything. So if your house is messy, so be it. No one died. Yeah, you clean it up next month.
Yes, yeah.
So, when I got married, I was very particular about arranging my home in a certain way. But now I am mother of two, and sometimes my home look like a platform, a railway station platform. But now I don't feel, irritated
Don't
about
feel
this.
guilty. Don't feel
Yeah,
guilty.
I just shut my door and just have a good nap for 2 hours. Then I'll get up to work office.
That's what I was doing with my kids' rooms. Shut the door so that I don't see the mess inside.
Yeah. So, yes, it's going great. We have another question. It's from a very early career female
Do we need to keep
physicist.
to time though?
Sorry.
Do we need to keep to time? Because I already see people maybe logging off. just to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
mindful of time.
We have one more question to include. If you allow, we can include one. And then we have the most awaited release of our poster for the
Please.
Women's Day. So this is a quick question. She's saying many young women, especially those who have faced unemployment or financial instability, often struggle to balance their personal aspirations for starting a family with their career ambitions. Due to circumstances, some may delay or put on hold their plans to have a family, leading to concern that they may have perceived as unserious or lacking in commitment to their personal goals. How can women, particularly those who have faced employment challenges, balance their desire to start a family with their career aspiration while maintaining a sense of purpose and seriousness about their personal goals? What strategies can they use to prioritize their personal aspirations without jeopardizing their personal growth? I think we have covered all those issues already in our discussion.
Look,
Uh,
it really depends also. I don't think there is one answer to that. It really
yes.
depends on the personal circumstances and what matters more for that person. One of the things what I see maybe in Australia and in Europe, but I don't know how it's about the countries in Asia, all of them. We're seeing now that women can get married a bit later because we live longer and we are healthier. So, my mom had me when she was 20. So now it's quite okay that you finish your studies, get a first job, and you can have we see the shift to having children a bit later, and that seems to be working quite fine for women to get education, start a job, and have a family. Arun, you had something to add?
There cannot be a universal solution
Exactly.
because you have to find a solution depending upon which place you're working, what are surrounding, what is your family background, what is your
Yeah.
workplace and all. That is what Jeannie had said. You have a cards. Now you should be smart enough to play those cards and all. It cannot be a universal solution across the globe, across the societies, across the job.
Yeah, exactly.
Job.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
But sometimes when people apply for jobs, again, you should be so lucky that you have more jobs. People might be looking, is it public, is it private? Who gives me more sick leave? Who gives me more annual leave? Who gives me more maternity leave? So you might also take that into consideration when you are accepting a position, so that where your benefits might be better if you are planning to go on maternity leave.
yes, yes. Thank you very much, all. Now, in favor of time constraint, let me ask for a permission from our president to release the poster, women poster we have. AFOMP has dedicated to all women medical officers in the region. So, do we have a?
Go ahead, Rajni, and thank you for organizing.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, ma'am.
And from the audience, anybody want to have one or two just expression also, can you allow?
Can you all see my screen?
Great.
Yes.
Thank you very much for participating and joining us for this process. And it's a wonderful experience. And we feel really happy that we got such a active participation, and we are able to can make this as a poster. So at the end, or anybody in the participants wants to join in?
Anyone want to express something? No.
I think we keep losing people, so maybe keep the time.
Yeah. I think now it's time to wind it up. It's really wonderful to have you all and have this heart-to-heart conversation. It really given us a platform to discuss our problems. So I would wind this up with a few lines. That criteria for success is not same for all. We have to be realistic. and starting a family could be seen as a boon, because then you have a beautiful addition to your family to cheer up later. So be happy, be kind to yourself, be passionate about your work. Then and at the end of the day, this will bring you happiness and the mental peace, and that is all which matters. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you all our speakers, participants for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much
Thank
for the
you.
opportunity.
Very
Thank
happy
As
International
I always
Women.
say.
to speak into the three female, this thing a male to speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The best.
Bye bye.